I'm so glad to be here. We're going to talk about how you've gotten to how you've arrived at this point in your life. How did you get here? What brought you to this point, this exact moment in your life? Every single moment, every single day. Hi. Thanks for joining. Every single moment, every single day, every single experience that you've had so far has been as a result of decisions made, one way or the other. These decisions were either made for you, by you, with you, whatever. The decisions that has been made is the result of the life that you have right now. So that is what I am going to start with. Before I go deep into it, I want to state that anyone that has a question can drop the question in the comments below. If you wish to actually come on, join me live and ask your questions live, I'm happy to do that. Let's make this loose and colorful. Let's make it conversational. Let's make it fun. So if you feel like joining in the live stream, by all means, send your request in and we'll see what we do with that. But so the question is, the central topic is about how you got to this point in your life. And just to start it off, I'm going to briefly go back to talking about the real reason that we're here, the real reason that we've been sent to this earth, right? When we were really young, you've always known, or you've always been told that you have a purpose in life. There's a reason that you're here. It's not random. You have to follow your dream. You have to do this and you have to do that. We've all had that conditioning. We've all had that upbringing, just for us to know that there's a reason that we're all here. But my question is, if there's a reason that we're all here, there's a purpose for every single one of us, are we still on the right path? Are the decisions that we've been making, does it feel like it's taking us a step closer day by day to that thing that we've been sent here for? Or do you even have a blinking idea why you're here? A lot of people that I've encountered, that I have spoken with, that I have gone into conversation with, sort of think that their purpose has to be something amazing and ridiculous, and if it's not big, if it doesn't feel huge, then it's definitely not their purpose. It's definitely not something that they're supposed to be doing. And it took me a while to come to the realization that that's actually not true. If your purpose in this life is to be here to make tons of money, then that's your purpose, to make tons of money. What you need to figure out is why your purpose here is to make tons of money. Is it to be able to aid somebody else? Is it to be a living example of abundance that one can get while being on this material earth? It could be any of those, but if your purpose is to make tons of money, then your purpose is to make tons of money. If your purpose is to, speak to people about a certain thing, then that's your purpose. But anyway, I want to go back to the real reason that I brought us all here together today is, how did you get here? This point, this exact moment in your life, where you are right now, how did you get here? Have you ever given it a thought? Have you ever wondered, what brought me here? What are the things that I've gone through? What are the encounters that I've been through? The experiences that I've had that got me to this point? How did those experiences happen? Did I make these decisions? Was I even aware of the decisions that were being made that has gotten me to this point in my life? I will use myself as an example. I grew up in a family, I am still in that family, where mother's an engineer, dad is in the medical field, siblings, everyone is either an engineer or a doctor, right? And so it wasn't even a choice that you're going to be like, well, I just want to go off and start sewing. They're going to look at you like, are you crazy? No. You're going to be a doctor, you're going to be an engineer, you're going to be a lawyer. The same thing goes with the kind of food that we eat, the kind of environment that we get nurtured in. And this is not to point a finger or blame anybody, but I'm saying that a lot of the decisions were made for us in those early stages because obviously we were children, right? So the whole idea was that we didn't know, we couldn't make these decisions for ourselves. But when you look at it, because of the way those decisions were made for us, because we were never made to feel like we could make those decisions for ourselves, it wasn't something that we even tried. It wasn't something that we fell into as we grew up. right? You just basically just continued with, okay, you're going to be a doctor, or you get your first degree in some medical field, and then you just kind of continue. You just kind of continue to take it like that. You never really take a step back to ask yourself, do I really actually want to be a doctor? Somebody comes up to you and they say to you, if you want to be rich, if you want to have tons of money, if you want to be successful, this is the job that you need to be doing. This is the career path that you need to choose. You just jump right into it, because somebody's telling you right there that if you want what they think you want, what you think you want, this is the way to go. And because you weren't nurtured from when you were young to take a step back and check with yourself, is that really what I want? And what's my definition of being successful? What's my definition of being rich? You just go with the general, the acceptable SI unit of being successful and being rich. You just go with that, and that's it. You jump into that career. You find that as the harder you push within that career, the more resistant, the harder it gets. You're just like, what the fuck? Am I the only person on this earth? You see somebody else that is doing it, and it's just easy breezy, beautiful for them. But with you, you're just pushing hard. The thing though is, you are not supposed to knock your head on the rock, on the wall, for things to go your way. If you are doing what you're supposed to do, if you are on the path that's been uniquely carved out for you, it will not feel like you are about to lose your damn head to get something done. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have contrast, but when you do have this contrast or challenges, when you do have them, it's just a nudge to say, listen, you forgot something along that path. Put your attention there. We need to quickly fix that before we go on. It won't feel like somebody's put a noose around your neck and dragging you to something that just feels completely out of alignment with you. So where you are today, at this point in your life, the marriage that you are in right now, the children that you have right now, the job that you're doing right now, the money that you have right now, the business that you're running right now, how did you get here? How did you make those decisions? Did you make those decisions for yourself? Did you make those decisions from a place of authenticity? I think that's correct. Did you make those decisions based on what you feel like is right for you? The craziest thing is, you always know what's good for you. You always, every fucking time, you always know what's right for you. You always know. But you're afraid that if you do it, people will talk. What will my mom say? What will my dad say? What will my sister say? What will my brother say? What if I'm not successful? Then what? You are afraid of what people will say. You are afraid of the consequences of what if it doesn't work out. You're afraid of that. You're afraid of your own power. You're afraid of your own self. So you let the decisions that other people have made, in form of advice, in form of, listen, I've been there before. This is something that has happened to me. You let that lead. You let that take the steering wheel in your life. You let that take control, right? So somebody has said to you that if your boyfriend, if your partner, if your husband is not doing this and doing this and doing that for you, then they don't love you. If your partner is not doing this, you need to leave that relationship. It's not the right one for you, so you leave the relationship. But then the next one you get into, you're still fucking miserable. You are still annoyed. You're still sad. You're still not feeling happy. Why? Because they've made that decision based on their experience. You didn't even take a step back to think, right, okay, hold up a second. What makes me feel loved? What makes me feel cherished? Is this man making me feel loved? Is this man making me feel cherished? Is this woman making me feel loved? Is this woman making me feel cherished? Does it have to look like we're taking ourselves? I think we're back. Can you hear me? Please, can you just type something under here if you can hear me? Victor, can you type yes, I can hear you, if you can still hear me? I think I lost you guys for a minute. Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? Okay, cool. Oh, thank you, Kemi. Right. So because of all these decisions that have been made by other people, sometimes in the form of it's just an advice, I'm just advising you because it's something that I've done before, yada 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 yada. You let that control your life. A lot of people that I know, that I've spoken to, are currently in marriages, in relationships, in businesses, in houses, in countries that they'd rather not be in, because they've let somebody else make that decision for them. Let me give you an example, and I always use myself as an example because this is what I know, right? And it might be wildly different from yours, but there'll be something there in your life, in your experience so far, that you will be able to connect to. That actually, wait a damn second. When I was going into university, when I finished my secondary school, when I was going to do my first degree, it wasn't even a question. Nobody called me and sat me down and asked, Jadisola, what would you like to do? It was, where are your scores? These are your scores. Boom, registered for pharmacy in some university. I didn't have a choice. I hate, like, if I have blood on my own body, I'm screaming like a banshee. I cannot stand it. I cannot. But my dad is in the medical field, and my mom is an engineer. My only sister is, she's already studying to be a doctor. It was just a given. I was enrolled in this school, and I went off to Jos. The first semester I was miserable. It wasn't even just because it was far and this was the first time I was going away from home. I was 16. I was just miserable. I didn't feel connected to it. I couldn't. At this point, I honestly, because if I tell you now that I was already, learning about myself and being spiritual, it would be a lie. I wasn't, but I knew that it didn't feel good. And so I unenrolled myself calmly, quietly, without telling anybody else. And I put myself on the transportation. I went to my dad. He was living in Abuja. I was like, I'm not doing it. He was like, what? I was like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. So then we came to a compromise, and I went for, industrial chemistry instead. Same thing with so many other things. And a lot of people called me stubborn. A lot of people told me that I wasn't being reasonable. A lot of people told me that you don't listen to what people are telling you. You don't listen. If you don't listen, and I'm like, I've heard you. I'm listening to what you're saying, but I will check it with myself. If it doesn't feel right, I am not going there, just because this point in my life, before I got here, I have gone through shit. And I know, I'm assuming that a lot of you have too, because of advice, because of what somebody is telling you. You do it this way. This is how all these successful people that you've seen, all these successful people that this is what they did to be successful. That's exactly what you need to do. That's bullshit. It's not exactly what you need to do, because you are not them. You are not configured the same way. You are not put together the same way. This configuration I will get to in a bit. You are not put together the same way. Therefore, what they're doing to make them successful is not guaranteed to make you successful. If somebody is telling you, if you want to lose weight, do intermittent fasting for 10 days, you can fast from now till Jesus comes. If your body is not in the right form that's good for you, fast all you want. You're going to do more damage, because your body is composition is totally different from anybody else. There are, I don't know, blanket tools and stuff that you can use, but you have to adapt it to yourself. You have to fit it to how you've been made. Now, how do you even know? How can you even understand what that means? Like, the first step is to know yourself. It's to understand who you are. Who the hell am I? What makes me me? What makes me unique? This is something that you hear everywhere, every time. Know yourself, know yourself. And what people are talking about, I am telling you right now, is on the surface. Know yourself, know yourself, know yourself. What I'm talking about is way deeper than know yourself. I'm talking about knowing the places where you're vulnerable to conditioning from other people. I'm talking about knowing places where your superpower is just sitting here, like, waiting for you. Knowing every single thing that makes you so bloody unique, because you are so unique, and I don't know any other way to tell you. Right from a very young age, before something would happen, I would know it. I couldn't tell you, till now I can't tell you how I know, but I will know it. If somebody comes near me, I would soak in all of that energy, all of that aura from them. I can't tell you why. If I'm happy and I'm right now, and somebody comes near me and they've been sad or they're sad or I would immediately, you see the transformation. I didn't know why. And so I was always hiding from like large people, from people that I didn't know, from people that weren't like family members and people that I'd related with in the first place. Hi sis. I didn't know what it was, but I knew that once I felt something or once somebody, I would remove myself. Now people started telling me that I was being too sensitive. You're just being too sensitive. Your emotion is just all over the place. And in all honesty, my emotions were all over the place because I didn't know how to work it. I didn't know what they were. I didn't even know what they meant. All I knew was that I was feeling them. They told me this so many times in such a negative connotation, such a negative way, that I started to then mute it. I started to just find ways to block it. I would not allow myself to feel it. Now, imagine that you're able to know something that's going to happen before it happens. Imagine that you have an idea. Imagine that you sleep and you get specific messages about things. But because people have told you that that's wrong, you can't be that way, you will never succeed. People will just take advantage of you. You will be this, you will be that, everything negative that people can tell you about this incredible superpower that you have. Naturally, what are you going to do? Human beings, survival mode. You don't want people to take advantage of you. You don't want people to use you. You don't want people to... You're going to start finding ways to walk around that, to mute that, to cover it up. And I did for the longest time. But the nature of the universe, of God, or where, if there's something that you're supposed to be doing, you can hide. You can mask it all you want. When the time is right, they will give you a hard slap on your head like, this is the time. You need to start doing what we've asked you to do because we need you here for a reason. We didn't just put you on earth so you can come and be like, ooh, la, 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 nothing. You are here for a reason. There's somebody, something out there that needs what we've put into you. You need to put it out there. You cannot continue to do it. Finding out who you are, beginning to understand what makes you you, what makes you special, not only benefits you, it benefits the people around you. Why? Once you know that, okay, I have, for example, in my configuration, and if you've been on my profile, you see that I talk about this a lot because this is the basis of everything that we are here. Didn't the Bible say, man, know thyself? Right? It's in the, if you're the Yoruba religious type, please correct me if I'm wrong. But it's that instruction is there. Know thyself. And he's not trying to tell you about your culture, about know what I have made. Know, the uniqueness that you are. Know the power that you have. Know why I have put you here. If you understand that, okay, I have an open emotional system, which means that I soak up emotions around me. When people come around me, I can feel what they're feeling. I can feel it in my own body. That means you have the power to be a healer in some way. And when I say you have the power to be a healer, I don't mean you have leprosy, be gone. If that's the power, that's the power. But to heal other people simply means that to take away their pain, any kind of pain that they have, whatever it may be. So the pain somebody might be having at that point could just be the pain of they're grieving or they have this fear or something. If you're able to understand that emotion, you have that intuitive capacity, you have that empathy within you, you can take away some of that pain for them, even if it's just at that particular point. Imagine what an impact you will make on that person's life. Now imagine if you've been hiding that, if you've been muting that all of this time because somebody's made a decision and told you that if you let your emotions come forth, if you allow your emotions to actually come out and you accept it and you use it, that you're going to be taken advantage of, or this is going to happen, or that's going to happen. There are so many things like that knowing yourself allows you to do. If you know that, okay, this is the kind of person I am. I have this energy within me that's constant. I have this powerful life force within me that's just energy that's constant. It gives me the strength to keep going, to do things that I need to do, to make shit happen. If you know that you have that energy within you, does it really matter what somebody is telling you that you can't do? You know you have this energy within yourself. You know there's nothing that you cannot do, right? You know that. So it's one of those ones where you have to make sure, hold on a second, shut the door, please, come back. Shut the door. Shut the door. Thank you. Sorry. It's one of those ones where you know that you have the power to do whatever you need to do. So you can go right ahead and do it. There are some of us where you have the power of communication. You have the power of the voice. You have the power of the truth, whereby your voice is your superpower. Your communication is your superpower. You can change lives with what you say, with the words that come out of your mouth, with the communication skill that you have. You can change lives. If you know that that's the power that you have, and somebody's trying to put you in some career that does not align with that in any way, you will find that you are struggling. So knowing a lot about yourself, figuring all these things out, not only benefits you, it benefits everybody. Now, when we go back to making decisions, every single one of us, there's a specific way that you are meant to make decisions for yourself. And all of this are information that I can give to you if you get your configuration report. And I only just need your full date of birth, your time of birth, and your place of birth. If you don't know your time of birth, I can do a rectification for it. I'll ask you a couple of questions and I will be able to tell you around what time you were born. But by getting that configuration report, right, what you find is you see all these different, I will break it down for you, all these different places where, okay, this is the kind of person that you are. This is your life's purpose. This is what you're supposed to be doing. And in order for you to fulfill that life's purpose, this is the superpower that you've been given. Now, I'll give you an example. Mine, and this is probably TMI, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Mine is to live all these life's experiences and then share it with people so that people can pick wisdom and information from it. Mine is to sensitize people to the uniqueness of themselves, to the amazing power that's within them. The only way that I can do that is to first live this experience myself and then communicate that and break it down and make sure that people can touch on it, people can relate to it. Now, what's the superpower that I've been given? This intuitive ability. This way that I am with you, everything you're feeling, I can feel. Before you say stuff, I'm there. Before, and again, if this feels like too much information, we're here today, so we're going to go all the way. Those are the things. I've had situations where, and this was even before I went this deep into this knowledge. I don't want to say spirituality now because that word has been bastardized. But this, I call it this awareness, this opening up. It's like a flower opening up, right? This caterpillar turning into butterfly. Before I got this deep into it, I remember then my mentor, I would never forget. He came to my apartment that time and he was really, really sick. He was just down. And he came to my apartment and I asked him what was wrong. He said, okay, this was what was wrong. And I wasn't intentionally trying to do anything. I just knew that I could make him feel better. So I laid beside him and we were just there in the same environment, in the same aura, in the same energy. We were just there. A few hours later, we just started talking, everything felt well and he went home. By the time he got home, he called me, was like, what did you do to me? I said, I don't know. All I knew was that I wasn't feeling well after he left and he was feeling fine. There was a transference of energy. There was a transference of vibe, whatever it was. I found that in the relationships I had in the past, one of the challenges I had with these relationships were because I have an open emotional side. I am an intuitive. I will soak up all this energy. When this person is upset, I'm upset. When this person is this, I am that. I didn't know how to differentiate between what's mine and what's not mine. Okay, they're upset, right? I need to give myself a bit of space, some distance so that I can come back and help them. I didn't know how to do that, right? So I would be in the thick of it and we're all upset and tension is running high and you just feel like, oh, this relationship is shit. It's not even working. You're doing that. Meanwhile, what's really happening is I'm amplifying whatever it is that they're feeling and it just feels like it's blown out of proportion. I had no bloody idea what that was. I had no idea that there was something like that within me. Knowing who you are, understanding how you're supposed to make decisions for yourself is honestly one of the most amazing things that you will do. And there is this constant saying, don't follow your emotions. Just allow your mind to just lead. No, don't fucking allow your mind to lead. Your mind is not supposed to feel anything. In fact, your mind does not have the capacity to feel anything. Your mind can only weigh data. Your mind can only calculate. If you find yourself, let me give you an example. You are in Nairobi, right? You're in the safari. You're trying to, look at lions and all these wild animals and stuff. And all of a sudden, everything goes dead silent, right? before you can even, your mind is going to okay, everything is silent, there's probably a lion behind me, the lion eats people, I'm about to die. And then you find that your legs just start to move. You either find yourself on top of a tree or something. It wasn't your mind. Your mind processed all this information and sent the report to your body, and your body immediately kicked into action like, nope, we're not dying here today, not today. Your body started to put everything in motion, made your legs move, made your breath quicken, gave you goosebumps all over your body so that you can climb that tree and get to safety. Your mind cannot feel anything. Your mind will process all this amazing information around you and then send the report to your body, and your body would then make the decision. When you meet somebody for the first time, you meet a guy for the first time and you look at him and you're just like, I don't like him. Or you meet a woman for the first time and you're like, there's something about that girl that I don't like. It's not your mind that's feeling anything. It's your mind that just cataloged everything, sent the report, and your body, your body's like, nope, that energy is not something that we should be dealing with. But we've all been brought up, we've all been trained to ignore your feelings, ignore what your body is telling you, and just go with your mind, go with your mind. The problem here is that if you're making decisions only in your mind, you're making decisions just based on the calculations that you're seeing outside, you will drive yourself nuts. That's the reason why you will see this person looks successful. Okay, success means that I have to have 3 flashy cars and a big house and a husband that has a good job and a wife that has a good job and 3 kids. I'm going to go do that as well. And then you go ahead and you do all of these things, but you're still fucking unhappy. Why do you think that is? Because your mind just made calculations and you went with the calculations. You didn't take a minute to stop to think, okay, what does my gut feel about this? What does my body feel about this? Is this my definition of happiness? What do we think? What do we feel about it? Mine is going to the point now where if I want to eat when I'm hungry, I don't go what's available, what's in the fridge. I just close my eyes, I'm hungry. What do I want to eat? If I see some food in front of me and my body goes, I'm like, okay, we're not eating that. If I see something else and my stomach goes, I'm like, oh, okay, cool, we like that, we're going to eat it. Understanding how you are supposed to be making decisions for yourself in alignment with your uniqueness, in alignment with why you are here, is what's going to set you apart, is what's going to make you feel like, okay, I'm not just floating on a sea of whatever in this world, and I'm here following the path that would actually lead me to where I'm supposed to be. We are all here doing things as if we are all the same. You are not the same with anyone ever. You are not the same with anyone ever. Another really, really silly example that I'm going to give you, which is just profound for me, is this issue of, let's say, Instagram, for example. You see all these people on Instagram saying you have to go live, you have to go do live stream, you have to appear on Reels, you have to do this one. Have you noticed that? And if you're a coach, this probably applies to you. Have you noticed that you do this Reel, you do this live, and you just feel like you're forcing yourself to do it? You just, I really don't want to do it, but I'm just going to do it. This used to be me. I used to hate appearing on video. I used to hate doing anything that, like, I'm a writer. I want to write. I can communicate better in writing. Like, if I write, I have a book on Amazon. And I remember the first time my mentor read it, he was like, you're crazy. When you're able to pinpoint what it is that you're good at, right? It will be easier for you to make the decision on how to use it. So because I hated being on live video didn't mean that I wasn't good at it. The problem was I was being told to come on live and be a certain way and appear a certain way and speak a certain way. And every single fucking time I tried, it just felt like somebody was trying to pull tooth from my mouth. It just felt so hard. It felt so forced. I couldn't listen back to my own videos because I hated them. If I'm hating shit that I'm putting out, how do I expect somebody else to come and like it, or somebody else to come listen to it and connect to it? And the moment I decided, no, my superpower, if I can use that word, my thing is not to be here and do it like everybody else is doing it. My thing is to do it, in fact, in the opposite way. My thing is to do it any way that feels right to me. And so I wake up this morning, do I want to do live stream? Does it feel like, I start to buzz, I'm like, whoa, live stream. I get in the gym, I want to work out. I need to do a live stream. Does it feel great? I do it. Does it not feel great? I don't do it. The same exact thing happens with you. The same exact thing happens with you. You have that inner knowing. You have that knowledge. You have the equipment. You have the sensor. It tells you all the time. I've shared this one time with somebody before and they laughed so hard until they came back to me and they were like, that stuff worked like magic. I told him, I was like, eliminate some senses. We have these senses, right? We have our sight, we have our ears, we have our nose, we have our taste, and we have like the skin. If you want to really, really understand how you make your decisions, one by one, eliminate some of the senses, right? So one day, for example, before you eat, close your eyes and cover your ears. So you can't see the food, right? It's in front of you, you set it up or whatever, somebody brings it to you, but you can't see the food and you can't hear anything. Put that food in your mouth. Let's figure out whether you like that food or not. Because if you can't see it, right, you only relying on your taste and maybe your nostrils to actually connect with that emotion that, okay, do I really like this? Is this something that I really want to be eating? And you will amaze yourself. You will be surprised at how many things you are doing because it's been put in front of you in your face for so many freaking time, for so long, that it's been normalized. So you're numb to what your body is trying to tell you, like, no, that's not right for you. When you are experiencing a lot of challenges, a lot of contrast in life, I always say to people, and we used to joke about it, that it's God, it's the universe's way of saying to you, no, child, this is where you're supposed to be going to, and you're not going that way. I'm going to gently, lovingly nudge you back. If they continue to gently, lovingly nudge you back and you're not listening, whack, they're going to yank you, and that's when it feels like, oh my God. I had mine. I always just used to hide from all the things that I knew. I knew things I couldn't explain how I knew them. I got messages, I got downloads that I couldn't explain how I downloaded them. And I was so afraid of speaking up because I was like, what will people think of me? People will think somebody has called me a witch before just because I use herbs. If you are afraid of what people will say, if you're afraid of what people will think, and you're muting yourself, you don't want to speak, you don't want to share this knowledge that you have, God is going to be sitting there like that. Universe is going to be like, all right, okay. When it's time though, when you're like, listen, we're not going to continue to sit here and do all of this rubbish. Boah! Mine came when my mother died. This is a story for another day. The problem with that was I knew that she was going to pass. I knew like 6 months before. In fact, I kept dreaming about it. I kept getting messages about it. But you know what I did? I kept praying it away. Oh no, God, please, no, don't let this happen. No, my mom, I'm not ready for it. I'm not ready for it. I'm not ready for it. I kept, no, to the point where almost every week I'll get a message, a dream, something about it. And I would just ignore it. Now, if I was in a place where I had acknowledged all these powers that I had, all these gifts that I had, let me not call them powers because it sounds frightening even to me. All these gifts that I had, then I would have known that this situation, it doesn't look like I can change it. There's nothing I can do about it. What can I do to ease my mother's journey? Because she's going to go on this journey and there's nothing I can do about it. But the rest of the time that she has here, what can I do to ease that for her? But because I didn't acknowledge it, I was so fucking scared that I was pushing it away. It was not only a shock to me, I am still, as I am talking to you now, dealing with the trauma and everything else that happened afterwards. If you are not going to open up and let the gifts that you've been given come forth, you're going to be pushed. Decisions that you make out of fear, out of conditioning from the past, has to be let go. It's no longer serving you. Surely you know now, if you look back on your life, if you look at where you are today, which is why I started this live stream with the question, where you are today, how did you get here? Did you make decisions yourself? Were you even aware of the decisions that were made for you to get to where you are today? Were you aware in any way? You will understand what I'm saying, right? You need to be awake in your own life. You need to be awake and participate in your own life. And the way to know that is by understanding how you function as a human being, as this unique gift that's here on earth. Because if you don't, things will pass you by. Things will fly by you every time, all the time. and you're just going to be numb to it because you're busy chasing, I don't know, advices and decisions and stuff that other people are putting in front of you, because you're busy chasing that. If you don't know that this is the reason that I'm here, this is the reason that I've been put here, and it doesn't mean that I'm spiritual now, I can't carry a designer bag. Screw that. Who said that? Because you are spiritual now is why you should be carrying a bloody designer bag. Because people tend to think if they go deep into their spirituality, if they go deeper, if they open up completely to it, then there's some things that is unacceptable, they cannot do. You cannot speak this way, you cannot dress that way. Who made this bloody rule? Who made that rule? I've had people come up to me all the time. Why do you use these words? Why do you say this? I'm like, excuse me, it's in the dictionary. It's one of the words that we're allowed to use. Yes, okay, then fine. Let's continue. Does it change the fact that if you are in trouble, I am going to be the first person that steps up to help you out? No. Does it change the fact that this is my life? This is what I'm supposed to be here to do, and I'm doing it. Does it change that fact? Okay, no. You can't worry so much about what somebody else is going to say to you. You can't worry so much about other people's opinions, because at the end of the day, advices that people will give you, opinions that they will share, experiences that they've had, that they're telling you to use to structure your own life, is colored by their own frame of reference, by what they've lived through. It's not the Holy Grail. Anything that someone comes to tell you, is you have to know that it's colored by what they've been through. So it's not the only grail. You listen to that stuff. It's not that you I don't want to hear, You listen to what they have to say to you, right? But then you go on and you meditate, you sit with it, you think about it, you process it, and then you check with your body. Does this feel like something that's right for me? Does it feel like something that I'm going to be able to adapt to my life? I was talking to my sister Jupiter. She's here in the comments. The last live stream that we had talking about spirituality and decision making, and she shared such a powerful story about how she had some medical challenges that she was dealing with, and she was getting all these advices from left, right, and center. And it was until she had to pull back from all of these advices and connect deeply with herself, with her inner knowing, and listen to that voice, that inner knowing within her that would let her know this is the right path. Until she connected with that, she couldn't find a solution that worked for her. Go onto her page and read all the amazing stories that she's sharing. The decisions that you are making has to be in alignment with why you're here. And if you don't know why you're here, how can you even say that decisions are in alignment with shit if you don't know why you're here? So the first step, the first thing to do is to first figure out, why am I here? And it doesn't have to be rocket science. We're not all here to be pastors and all these huge things. Honestly, your reason for being here could just be you are a networker. Your reason for being here on this earth could be because you've been put here to connect people together. It could be as simple as that. Your reason for being on this earth could be just because you're here to connect this person to that person. It could be just that. It doesn't have to be some grand thing where, oh my God, you don't have to be the next Tony Robbins. In fact, you cannot be the next Tony Robbins, because it's only one Tony Robbins. There will always only be one Tony Robbins. Same way there's only going to be one you ever. Your job is to figure out, okay, there's only going to be one me ever. That must be pretty spectacular, right? So what am I here to do? What am I here for? Hey, B, what am I here for? What am I supposed to be doing here? If your job on this planet Earth is to be a networker, is to connect people from different areas, from different aspects of life, and you're sitting there thinking, well, I don't know anyone. Well, you have to make the decision. You have to make that decision, and you have to find a way to make this decision in such a way that it is in alignment with what you're supposed to be here to do. It doesn't matter, because if you don't do it, at some point you will be made to do it. And if you don't do it in this lifetime, you will come back to do it in the next lifetime. It's as simple as that. Simple as that. So when you sit with yourself and you ask yourself, this point that I am at in my life right now, how did I get here? Those are the critical questions that you need to start with. How did I get here? How am I 40 years old and I'm unmarried and I don't have any kids and I'm living in a foreign country? How did I get to this point? Ask yourself those questions and find the answers. If you're not sure, if you don't know how you got here, chances are you didn't make these decisions yourself. Chances are you just kind of, you were like a robot. You just kind of followed along with what everybody was saying was the right thing to do, and you did that anyway. And so you're here and you feel completely lost. You don't know how the fuck you get here because you weren't participating in the journey of your own life. You were just in there. If you don't know how you got here, if you cannot honestly say that I made these decisions to get to be here, to be at this point right now, to do these things that I'm doing right now, you need that. Clearly you have to look at a lot of things, and you have to figure out, okay, if that's the case, if I don't know how I got here, if I can't figure out how I got here, if it doesn't feel like I make these decisions for myself, fine, okay, it happened, what am I going to do now? Because there are 3 stages, right? Where you were, where you are now, and where you're going. You were where you were, and all those decisions were made to get you to where you are right now. Does it still feel like you're on the right path to where you ought to be? Does it feel like it's the right thing for you to do to get to where you need to get to? If it doesn't, are you still going to continue to compete in this race? Or are you going to call time out and then re-strategize and figure out, all right, what the hell do I need to do? Who do I need to talk to? What do I need to, what information do I need to get this started with myself? If you are not, okay, I thought I saw you're not welcome. I was like, what's going on? But if you've checked that with yourself and you don't have a blinking idea how you've got into where you are right now, then you need to rework that. There are so many things that I can share with you today, but we don't have all the time. Instagram is going to cut me off in about 10 minutes. So you can always come back to watch this later. I'm going to try and do another long IG live very, very soon so we can talk some more. But in the meantime, a few things that you can do right now to get you started is to go on my profile. There are so many different resources, so many different posts that I've shared on there. Read through them, but don't just read them like this is textbook and you're reading to write an exam tomorrow, because it's not. Read all these things. These are things that I've been trained on, that I've worked on, and I'm still applying them to myself. I'm still applying them to my life, and I'm still editing. I'm still taking some things that, okay, no, that doesn't really work well for me. Go through the profile, read all the stuff on there, all the content, and then sit with it and contemplate and figure out, apply them to your life, apply them to yourself, and see which one fits, which one does not fit. The most crucial, the most important thing that I would say that you need to do first and foremost is to understand is to understand yourself. Every single thing, everything else will fall in line once that is done, once that is sorted. I was floating like a leaf. I was making friendships and connections that I shouldn't be making, that I didn't need at the time, because I had no blinking idea, what I needed, what I wanted, where I was going, and what I needed to get there. I was just floating along. And the moment I realized that, I was like, okay, no, started cutting the things that I didn't need out. It doesn't mean that you're a terrible person. It doesn't mean anything. It just means that you are you know where you're going to, and you know you are doing the best that you can to get on the right path, right? So the first thing I would advise that you do is to get to know yourself. Get your report, get your configuration report. All I need from you for that to happen is just your full name, your date of birth, your place of birth, and your time of birth. I know many people, someone like me, was born in Nigeria, grew up there. You probably, and obviously a long time ago, if you don't have your time of birth, there are some questions that I can ask you to figure out around what time you were born, which would allow me to then pull up your details and use that to construct your configuration report. Victor is here. Victor can tell you when he got his configuration report. Victor can tell you how he came back. It's like, what is going on, Jadisola? What are you not telling me? Because from your date of birth and your place of birth and time, there are so many things that I can pull up. Yes, obviously I use so many different tools, which I'm not going to bore you with. Just know that when you read your configuration report, your mind is going to be like blown. There are so many incredible things about you that you will find and you'll be like, oh my God. So this is why all these things have been happening this way. This is why I react this way to this. This is why I respond this way to that. This is why I am the way that I am. This is why I'm so emotional. This is why once I start something, if I don't finish it, all hell is going to break loose. Because it's as detailed as it tells you, you have the energy to start and finish something. And this is, for example, this is one of my thing, right? I'm a sacral being, and then I also have that vibration, that energetic vibration of starting something and finishing it. So once I start something, whether it's the right thing for me to do or it's a wrong thing for me to do, once I start it, I must finish it. If I don't finish it, I will not feel any satisfaction. Imagine getting into a relationship that's not right for you, but you have that energy. This is something that's happened to me. Right, I get into this relationship and all of my friends are like, what is wrong with you? How can you not see this? But I have to finish it, right? So until I get to the point where I'm like, okay, it's finished, then I'm not going to rest easy. It's also the same thing with some friendships I have. Once I start a friendship, even if it becomes toxic and something is happening, I will continue that friendship until I get to, my energy gets to, okay, we're done, boom, we're done. And then they start to call me, you're a bitch. How can you just shut the door like that? Can you just not even look back? Because the energy is spent. Once you know all of these things about yourself, it makes it a lot easier for you to understand yourself more, relate with people better, and understand the people that you're dealing with. So send me a DM, go on my profile. You can contact me via WhatsApp. You can send me an email. You can drop your comments right here. Date of birth, full name, place of birth, and time of birth. I'm happy to do maybe the first 5 people that drop their comment. I'll do your free overview for you. If you just drop all these details in the comment or you send me a DM about them, and then we can take it from there. But in the meantime, I hope you've been able to get something from here. If you have questions, please feel free to send me questions. Drop the comment here. If something that I said that you don't understand, like this bitch crazy, drop the comment here as well, and I will do my best to answer it and break it down for you and make it at the end of the day, I want this to be conversational, right? I want us to kind of just talk about it. I want your opinion. I want your experiences. If you've connected with anything that I've said here, if anything made sense, if you're like, oh wow, wait, is this why so thing has been happening? Could it be why? Drop it in the comment. Let's all learn from it. Because that's the whole point, right? Nobody's an island. Nobody knows everything. You don't know everything. You will learn every single day with each breath that we take. We'll learn. Don't forget to go on my profile and go through all the contents there. I have a tool guide in that tab. A couple of tools that you can use to sort of just your way out of any stressful situation. Let me know what you think, guys. I'm super grateful, and I want to give a special shout out to Victor. You are such an amazing person, and I'm lucky and I'm glad that I found you. Thank you so very much. You've been incredible. Everybody, let me say thank you to Victor. Thank you so much. And thanks everyone that joined. Marjorie, B, Kemi, I can't even name, Sis, I can't name everybody. I can't say all your names because I'm honestly looking at the time. I don't want Instagram to kick us out without me saying thank you. Thank you so much for joining this. If you found this really useful, please share with other people. You can just share a link of it on your stories. You don't have to put it on your profile. Put it on your profile. You can share the link on your stories. Share with as many people as you can so that they learn about this stuff, so that you help them, at least sensitize them to understanding that there's a lot more to them that they probably don't know at this time, which is why I'm here. So thank you very much once again for joining. I'll see you as the day goes by. Thank you so much. Bye.